If you have been grinding in Season 12, then you already know the struggle. Obducite is painfully slow to farm right now. Upgrading your gear feels like hitting a wall, running random content barely gets enough. But what if I told you there is a loop you can set up that basically farms Obducite non-stop and feeds itself? In this guide, I'm going to show you a self-sustaining Obducite farming method using Horadric Strongroom and Escalating Nightmare Sigils. And once you get this going, you will never farm Obducite the old way again. With drop rate nerfed compared to previous season, Obducite has become a major bottleneck. But instead of relying on slow, random farming, Season 12 actually gives a much smarter system. Everything now revolves around Strongroom, Escalating Sigils, boss, repeat. It is a loop, and once it starts rolling, it keeps feeding itself. So first, you want to start with a Nightmare Dungeon Sigil that has Horadric Strongroom affixed. This is your entry point into the loop. Run the dungeon until you find the Strongroom, and make sure you complete it at as high a rank as possible. At around rank 5 and above in Torment 4, you are looking at roughly 800 plus Obducite per run, and most importantly, the Strongroom chest has a high chance to drop an Escalating Nightmare Sigil. If it drops, then perfect, you are in. If not, just run another Strongroom dungeon until you get one. Now, once you get your first Escalating Sigil, this is where things start to snowball. Use your Escalating Nightmare Sigil. Inside this dungeon, every floor has a chance to spawn a Horadric Strongroom, even if the dungeon doesn't have the Strongroom affixed. So here's what you do. If a Strongroom appears, run it, get Obducite plus possibly another Escalating Sigil. If not, just keep progressing toward the boss. And quick tip here, if you don't have Strongroom Sigil at the start, you can run normal Nightmare Dungeons until one appears or craft Sigils at the Occultist. Now, this step is very important. Always finish the Escalating Nightmare Dungeons and kill the final boss, the Astaroth, because he frequently drops 1 to 2 Nightmare Sigils, and most of them have the Horadric Strongroom affixed. This is what reset and sustain your loop. And now, you just repeat. Use the Strongroom Sigil you got, farm Obducite, get more Escalating Sigils, run them, kill the boss, get more Sigils, and it keeps going. Here's the full loop. Strongroom, Escalating, boss, more Sigils, Strongroom, repeat. Once this cycle stabilizes, you are basically running an infinite Obducite farm. So why is this method so strong? First, consistent Obducite income. Every Strongroom chest gives you 800 plus of Obducite reliably. Second, self-sustaining loop. You almost never need to go back to other farming methods. The system literally feeds itself. And third, high efficiency. You get multiple chances per run to generate more sigils and extend the loop. Now here's where things get even crazier. If you run this in a group, the efficiency goes through the roof because rewards are individual. So imagine a full party of 4 players. Each player can get their own Escalating Sigils. That means one run can turn into 4 runs immediately. Then you rotate Sigils between players, and suddenly you are chaining Escalating Dungeons almost endlessly, which basically means infinite Obducite farming with near zero downtime. Alternatively, there are still other ways to farm Obducite, but they are just not as efficient compared to farming in Strongroom. Run Kurast Undercity with Tribute of Refinement. It drops around 400 plus Obducite per run at rank 4 attunement in Torment 4. Not bad, but slower and less consistent. Infernal Horde, you can get around 400 to 800 Obducite depending on ether spending, but each run takes 6 to 10 minutes or more depending on how many waves you run. So if your goal is pure Obducite farming, it is not worth prioritizing. And finally, here's a method that a lot of players completely overlook, the Bartering Vendor. As you level up your mercenaries, you earn pale marks. You can spend this at the Bartering Vendor for caches, and the one you want is Masterworking Cache. Each one gives around 50 to 150 Obducite plus oboes. It is not huge per cache, but as a passive income source, it adds up over time. Plus the vendor can also roll greater affixed gear, so always check and refresh it when you can. And that's the best way to farm Obducite in Season 12, a self-sustaining loop that can go on almost infinitely once you set it up properly. If this helped you out, make sure to drop a like and subscribe. And if you have found an even better method or have tips to improve this loop, let me know in the comments. I did love to test it out. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one.